natural numbers starts from 1 and goes till the end, but whole number starts from 0, including the natural number 1, 2, 3, right? So we can say from here that whole number, right? Whole number is a bigger set of number than natural numbers, right? Because it has extra 0 also, correct? So this is about natural number and whole number. Now we'll understand about integers, right? Integers. Okay, what are integers? Integers are nothing but all the negative numbers, right? -3, -2, -1, including 0, 1, 2, 3. Right? All the non-decimal numbers are known as what? Integers. Okay, negative, 0, and positive, right? So this is in integers, all the numbers. These numbers are what? Negative numbers. Negative integers, right? There is a 0, and then there is positive integers, right? So everything will be included in what? Integers. Okay, so now integer is also a bigger set than whole number, because you can see in integers from 0 till the maximum number they are also coming, and along with it negative numbers are also coming in integers, right? So natural numbers, whole numbers, and integers. Then the next thing is, fourth is, okay, I'll change the color. Okay, fourth is what? Positive integers. Positive integers is nothing but natural numbers. So positive integers are nothing but natural numbers. Okay, positive integers are nothing but natural numbers, which we have already written here, right? One more thing, natural number is denoted by capital letter N, right? Capital letter N. Whenever we refer natural numbers, we refer it to be what? Capital letter N. Whole numbers will refer it to be what? With the sign W. Okay. Integers, we generally refer it with the sign of Z. Okay. Z actually means what? What does it denote? It denotes integers, right? And positive integers, if I want to denote, I will be writing Z plus, right? Z plus, or I can also say it to be a natural number. Okay. Z plus will denote positive integers or also natural numbers, right? Next we'll go to the next slide. Okay, fifth, which is negative integers. Negative integers, right? What are negative integers? It will be starting from a very small number, then -3, -2, and -1. Okay, so it will be starting from very small number, right? And will be going till what? -3, -2, and -1. And they will be denoted by what? Z minus. They will be denoted with what? Z minus. Okay. So this is about negative integers. Okay. Then the sixth kind of number is non-negative. Non-negative integers. Non-negative. Now what does it is saying, right? Non-negative means what? Non-negative means negative. We don't need negative numbers, right? So in integers, if I see in integers, there are negative, 0, and positive, right? So we don't need, in non-negative, I can say I don't need this negative numbers. So what exactly are we looking for? We are looking from these numbers, which are nothing but whole numbers, right? Which are nothing but whole number. What student does a mistake is they consider non-negative to be equal to positive, right? But this is not correct. This is a mistake, right? Non-negative is not equal to positive. What does non-negative means? Non-negative means 0, 1, 2, 3, so on, right? So it will contain positive and 0, because 0 plus positive numbers are considered to be what? Non-negative integers, right? Please remember this. Non-negative doesn't mean positive numbers. There is a difference, right? Similarly, just like non-negative, we will be having, so we can say it is as a whole number also, right? Then the next kind of number, seventh, right? Next kind of number will be what? Non-negative, so we'll say non-positive. So again, just think, just like non-negative integer, think whether non-positive integers, will it be equal to negative numbers? Will it be equal to negative number? No, right? Why? Because it will also have 0, right? So we can say it will be starting from smaller number to till here, then -3, -2, -1 and 0, right? In non-positive integers, what will be coming? All the negative numbers along with 0. So this 0 is extra, right? Because of which we can't say that non-positive integers are negative integers. Am I clear? Right? All these 7 kind of number, I think this is a very basic about numbers: natural number, whole numbers, integer, positive integers, right? Then next is what? Negative integers, non-negative integers and non-positive integers. Am I clear? Okay. Let's look at the next kind of numbers. Then we'll come to what? Next kind of number. So we'll be coming to 8th kind of number. We'll understand deeply about them tomorrow, but I'm just telling you right now what is rational number. Right? Rational number. You must be remembering from your school time, right? Like 8th or 9th, you must have learned the definition of rational number. What is a rational number? Any number, right? Any number of the type P by Q, where P, Q are integers, and Q does not equal to 0, right? Any numbers of the type P by Q where P and Q both are integers, but Q, that is a denominator, cannot be equal to 0, are known as what? Rational number. Rational numbers. Now in rational numbers, all the integers, right? All the integers, fraction, okay, and terminating number. All these numbers comes in terminating or recurring numbers, right? Terminating numbers will be coming in what? Rational numbers, okay? So whatever types of number we have studied so far, right? All this will come under which umbrella? It will come under the umbrella of rational number. Am I clear? And they are denoted with what? Capital letter Q, okay? This will be denoted with what? Capital letter Q. So Q is what? Rational number, okay? So all the integers, fraction, terminating numbers, right, will be classified as what? Rational numbers. Am I clear till here? Okay. Then the next kind of numbers is irrational numbers. So we'll be doing questions based on rational and irrational number, and we'll be understanding them tomorrow also. But right now we are just generally understanding what is a number system. So we are getting a brief idea about rational and irrational number. So what is a irrational number? Irrational number are the numbers which are non-terminating and non-recurring numbers, and non-recurring numbers are what? Irrational numbers, okay? Generally they comes under square root or cube root, and that too they have inside the square root or cube root they will be having a prime number. So say square root of 3, square root of 3, square root of 5, right? All this comes under what? Irrational numbers, right? Along with this there are two more special irrational numbers, right? One is E, right? And second is pi, okay? Pi you all must be knowing about it. Pi is, we approximately take it to be 22/7 or 3.14, but the exact value of pi is not defined, okay? And E is a Napier's constant, all right? So this is about rational, irrational numbers, and just like rational number, irrational numbers are denoted by what? They are denoted by Q dash, okay? They are denoted by what? Q dash. Am I clear about it? So irrational numbers and rational numbers are again the two types of numbers in the number system, right? And all the types of other numbers like this, non-positive, non-negative, negative, positive, integers, all will come under which category? They will come under the category of rational numbers. Okay, now we'll learn about the last and the biggest set of number. Right, biggest set of number is what? Real numbers. Real numbers. Okay, real numbers. So what is the definition of real number? Real number means all the types of numbers that are rational or irrational numbers comes under the category of what? Real numbers. So real number is like the father of all the numbers, okay? And it is denoted by what? It is denoted by capital letter R. Okay, it is denoted by what? Capital letter R. So this is a biggest set of number in which there will be rational numbers also, irrational numbers also. Everything will come under the category of what? Real number, right? So just to revise it briefly, what we have learned so far. So first is a real number, right? In real number, there are two types of number. One is rational and second is irrational, right? Q and Q dash. Q stands for rational and irrational. It comes under the category of what? Real number. Real number is the biggest category of number. Am I clear? Then in rational numbers also, there are three types of number. Okay, negative integers, 0, right, and positive, right? Negative, 0 and positive. So this will be coming in what? Rational number. Along with it, there will be decimal numbers also, right? Decimals or fractions also we can say. So this all will be coming under the category of what? Rational numbers, right? And in positive integers, right, this combined will be known as whole number and this will be alone will be known as natural number. So this is a brief idea about what? The types of numbers, all the kind of types of number in the number system, right? Let's move further and let's understand what other classification we can do on number system, right? Like even numbers, odd number, prime numbers, composite numbers. So these are different types of numbers. Let's understand one by one what exactly does all this means. Correct? So I hope everything is clear till here. Real number, rational, irrational numbers, decimal, negative, 0, positive, and then comes the whole number. This is a combine of 0 and positive integers. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next point. All right, the next kind of numbers what we are going to study is about even numbers. Okay, even numbers. So what is the definition of an even number, right? Think about it. You must have learned in your school that what is an even number, right? Numbers which are ending with 0, 2, 4, 6 and 8. Right? Numbers which are ending with 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, right, are known as what? Even numbers. Or we can also say it's a multiple of 2, right? All the numbers which are multiple of 2 will be classified as what? Even numbers, right? So I don't think there is a requirement of any example for even number because all of us understand what is a even number. Okay, but just to revise it, I have written it, numbers which are ending with 0, 2, 4, 6 and 8 are known as what? Even numbers. And there is no general denotion for even numbers, just like rational numbers, irrational numbers, real numbers. Okay, we generally say it to be what? Even number. Okay, then the next is what? Odd numbers. Then the next kind of number is what? Odd numbers. Okay, what kind of numbers are odd numbers? Numbers which are not even. We can, in one way of saying is what? numbers which are ending with 1, 3, 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9, right? Numbers which are ending with 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9 will be known as what? Odd numbers, right? So in both even and odd numbers, negative and positive both type of number can come. Okay, we can also have even negative number, we can also have odd negative number, right? 0 will be classified as even number only. If only the number I am talking about 0, it will be classified as what? Even number. Am I clear? So I hope it is clear with even number and odd number, right? Now what are the possible combinations of numbers? Let's understand that, right? Like if I add two numbers, so will it be, what is the condition for that number to be even, that number to be odd, or multiply or divide? Let's understand them, right? What are the possibilities? Okay, so let's see them one by one. All right, so if I add, right? If I add or subtract an even number with an even number, right? Add or subtract an even number with an even number, I am going to get an even number, right? I'm going to get an even number. Similarly, if I am going to add odd and an odd number, both of the same type, even and odd or odd, right? So add or subtract, then also I am going to get what? Then also I am going to get a what? Even number. So for example, if I want to consider, just to explain you, that 1 plus 3 will give me 4, which is an even number, right? Which is an even number. 1 is what kind of number? Odd. This is also what kind of number? Odd, but it is giving me what? Even number, right? It is giving me an even number. Then secondly, if I take two even numbers and subtract them, let's say if I take 10 minus 8, so what I am getting? 2, right? What am I getting? 2. Again, I can add them also, it will not change. Why? Because it's, I told you, even minus even will always give you even, right? So if we add any two kind of number, like two similar kind of number, like even plus even or odd plus odd, or plus minus, both will consider, then the type of number what we are going to get is always going to be an even number, right? I hope it is clear to everyone. Next thing is what? Next, if I add or subtract two different kind of numbers, then let's understand what happens. Different kind means, let's say if I add an even and an odd number, right? Even plus minus odd. Then think for a minute that what will happen if I add two different kind of numbers, then even plus minus odd, right, will give me always an odd numbers, right? It can be odd plus minus even also, not matter, but even plus minus odd will always give me an what kind of number? Odd number, right? An example for this will be, you can think of any number, let's say 3 plus or minus 4. So either I'll get a 7 or I'll get a minus 1. Anyway, it is going to be a odd number, right? It is going to be a odd number. Why? Because as I told you, that this is an odd number and this is a even number. So odd plus minus even will always give me an odd number, right? So for addition and subtraction, I hope it is clear to all of you that if we add any two type of numbers, similar kind of numbers, then we'll be getting a even number, right? But if we add or subtract two different kind of number, that is one is even, other is odd, then it will become an odd number. All right, let's go to the next point. Let's see what happens when we multiply two numbers. Okay, so this we will do one question based on this thing. That is why I'm explaining to you right now what will happen to this. Okay. All right, so let's see what happens if I multiply or divide two type of number. So again, third case, right? Third case, right? In third case, we'll see if I divide or multiply, right? Even divided by even, odd divided by odd. No, wait. Even divided by even, okay. or even multiply by even. In division we can't say anything, so right now we will not take a case of division, we'll take a case of multiplication. So if I say even with even, right, even into odd, right, even into even or even into odd will always give me a even number. Will always give me a what? Even number. So if in multiplication I have even one even number, right, then the ultimate product will going to be what? A even number, right? At least one even number I have in the product. So if I'm multiplying, let's say 5 numbers, and I'm having one even number in it, then the ultimate product is going to be what? Even number. All right. But next, so for example, for this I'll say, let's say 2 into 5, right? 2 into 5 into 3. So what I'll be getting? 30, which is an even number. Why? Because I have multiplied with an even number. And if any one even number is there, irrespective of what odd number or even number I am multiplying, I will get the ultimate product to be what? Even number. Okay. Then next, fourth. In fourth, we'll see if I multiply two odd numbers, right? If I multiply two odd numbers, then I'll be definitely getting a odd number, right? Odd into odd we cannot ever become even. Okay. So for example, 3 into 5. 3 into 5 will always give me what? 15. 15 is what kind of number? 15 is an odd number. Right? 15 is what kind of number? An odd number. So I hope it is clear, right? What are the operation on even numbers? So I'll revise it again once again. What happens generally? So even plus minus even or odd plus minus odd will give me an even number, right? And even plus minus odd will always give me a what? Odd number, right? Next, even into even, right? Or even into odd will always give me a even number. So if I multiply any number with an even number, I will always get an even number. Then if I multiply two odd numbers, then the product will be what kind of number? Odd numbers, right? I hope it is clear right now what are the type of number? Even numbers and odd number. All right. 0 is coming. 0, if somebody has a doubt about 0, I already told you 0 comes under the category of even number. Okay. 0 comes under the category of even number. All right. Let's go to the next topic. Okay. The next topic is prime number. Right? Prime number is a very interesting type of number. Okay. So what does prime number means? Think about it for a second. What does prime numbers mean? Okay. I definitely think that all of you must be remembering something about prime numbers, right? अच्छा भूल गया था okay, then prime numbers, right? What is a prime number? Let's understand that. So any numbers which has any number which have only two factors, right? Any numbers which has which has only two factors, which has two factors, one is 1 and the number itself, and the number itself is known as what? Is known as what? Prime numbers, right? Is known as what? Prime number. For example, I can say 2 is a prime number, right? I can say 3 is a prime number, 5, then 7, then 11, then 13, then 17, right? Like this, all 19. Like this, all kind of numbers will be what? All so on, right? So on will be a what? Prime numbers. Why? Because all these numbers will have only two factors. One themselves, that is 2, and the other number is 1. That they are divisible by themselves, either by themselves or the number 1. So those kind of numbers are what? Prime number, right? Some people must be thinking, sir, why 1 is not coming here? 1 should also be coming in this. No. Always remember, 1 is not a prime number, right? It is actually neither 1 is neither prime. 1 is neither prime nor composite. Okay, what is a composite number? I'll explain it in a while, but always remember that 1 is neither prime or composite. Okay, so apart from 1, all the numbers which we are getting here, which are divisible by themselves or 1, is known as prime number. All right. Now, one interesting fact about prime number is that all the prime numbers, right? All the prime numbers after 5, right? After 5 will be of the type 6n plus or minus 1, right? Will be of the type 6n plus minus 1. Okay, this is a very interesting fact. What I am trying to say, please try to understand. All the prime numbers from 5, right, will be either of the type either 6n plus 1 or 6n minus 1. Okay, so for getting 5, I am putting 1, right? 5 and 7 I will get when I put 1, right? When I put 2, I will get 11 and 13, right? When I put 3, I will get 17 and 19. Right? But when I put 4, right, when in this, I put n equal to 4, see, one number I will get as 23, the other number I will get is 25, which is not prime. We all know 25 is a square of 5. So 25 is not a prime number, right? Then how can I am saying that 6n, all the prime numbers are of the type 6n plus minus 1? Please try to understand. I am not saying that all the numbers of the type 6n plus minus 1 numbers are prime number. Okay, that is not true. That is not necessarily always true that all the numbers of the type 6n plus minus 1 will be a prime number. But all the prime number from 5 will be classified as what? 6n plus minus 1. The reverse may not always be true. Okay, so I hope it is clear now. Right? So if you need to check any number is of prime number or not, you just need to check whether it is coming under the category of 6n plus minus 1. Okay, I hope it is clear. And one more thing, 1 is neither prime nor composite. Okay, 1 is neither, this is a very, very, very important fact, then 1 is neither prime nor composite. Okay, then this is the first, you can say a note, okay, a small note that 1 is neither prime nor composite. The second thing I wanted to say, right, second thing is what? That 2 is the only even prime number. 2 is the only even prime number. Right? There is no other prime number than 2. Right? 2 is the only even prime number. Then the next point, 3 is the smallest odd number. 3 is the smallest odd prime number. Right? 3 is the smallest odd prime number. Am I clear? Right? About all these 3, note that 1 is neither prime nor composite. 2 is the only even prime number and 3 is the smallest odd prime number. Right? And I will clear one more time that all the prime numbers from 5, right, from 5 will be of the type 6n plus minus 1, where I can say n belongs to natural numbers. Right? N belongs to what? Natural number. But the vice versa is not true. What do I mean by vice versa? Vice versa means all the numbers of the type 6n plus minus 1 will not be a prime number. This reverse is not true. Okay, we saw that 25 is a type of number 6n plus minus 1, but it is not a prime number. Okay, so I hope it is clear about prime number. What does prime number mean? Okay, and these are 3 important notes on prime number. Let's go to the next type of number. right? Next kind of number, which is a composite number. Okay, composite number. So what is the definition of composite number? Composite number stands for one more thing, that all the non-prime numbers will be classified as composite number. This is a very simple definition. But the other definition is what? Any number having more than two factors, right, will be classified as what? Composite number. Will be classified as what? Composite number. So for example, let's say 4, right, 6, then 8, then 10, then 12. All these numbers, right, 4, 6, 8, 12, in fact 9 also, right, I forgot in middle 9, right. This will be classified as what? Composite number. All these numbers will be composite number. Why? Because see, 4 has a factor of what? 1, 2 and 4. 6 has 1, 2, 3, 6. Right? Like that 10 has 1, 2, 5 and 10. Right? There are so many factors. So that's why they are not prime numbers. Because for prime numbers, there should be only two factors. One, the number 1, and the second, the number itself. Right? Now, this is about composite number. For composite number, remember one note, that 4 is the smallest composite number, right? 4 is the smallest composite number. Okay, am I clear? So 1 is neither even nor composite, 2 is the only even prime number, 3 is the smallest odd prime number, and 4 is the smallest composite number. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope now prime number and composite number is clear for all of you. Okay, so first we are understanding the theoretical part, and then we'll be doing the questionnaire part. Okay, so this is about the composite number. Okay, then the next kind of numbers, what we'll be learning is co-prime numbers. Right? The next kind of numbers are what? Co-prime numbers. Co-prime or relatively prime. Right? Co-prime or relatively prime. So this is a very confusing term, co-prime and relatively prime. Many students are confused about them. So please try to recall what is the definition of co-prime numbers. Right? I will tell you the exact definition. Two numbers are said to be co-prime, if their HCF is 1. If their HCF, what does HCF means? HCF means highest common factor is what? 1. Right? Highest common factor is what? 1. For example, I can say 2 and 3, right? 2 and 3 are what kind of number? Co-prime or relatively prime numbers. Okay. Then I can say 4 and 3 also is what? Co-prime or relatively prime number. Why? Because their HCF is 1. Right? Now mind it is not necessary that both the numbers have to be prime. 4 is a composite number and 3 is a prime number, but they themselves, right, are what? Co-prime or relatively prime. Are you getting what I'm trying to say here? That 4 is a prime number and 3 is a composite number, but they both together form what? Co-prime numbers. Right? So it is not a necessary condition that for two numbers to be co-prime, they have to be both prime or they have to be both composite. Right? Anything is possible. Just their HCF has to be how much? Their HCF has to be 1. Okay? That is the only condition for two numbers to be relatively prime or co-prime. Right? So one more example if I want to give here is right? Example if I want to give here is 4 and 9, right? 4 and 9. Now both the numbers 4 and 9, right? 4 is also a composite number, 9 is also a composite number, but they themselves are what? Relatively prime number. They are what? Relatively prime or co-prime. Why? Because there is no common factor apart from 1 in between 4 and 9. Alright? So don't be confused with the word just prime, right? Because prime numbers gives you that idea that the numbers have to be prime. It is not necessary, right? Co-prime means what? That their HCF is going to be 1. That's it. That number, those numbers can itself be a prime and composite, composite, or both the prime numbers, right? Any combination is possible for those numbers. Am I clear? So this is about what? Co-prime or relatively prime number, right? Then we'll go to the next slide, last kind of number, and then we'll be practicing questions on whatever theory we have studied today. So we'll be practicing questions based on it. All right, let's do the last kind of number, which is what? Twin prime number. Okay, the next, yes, twin prime number, right? Twin prime number. Okay, now what is the definition of twin prime number, right? If the difference between two prime numbers, if the difference between two prime numbers is 2, then it is known as what? Twin prime number, right? For example, 3 and 5, right? 5 and 7, right? 11 and 13. So all these kind of numbers will be known as what? Twin prime numbers. So this is the last kind of number, as I told you, that what we are going to study today. This is twin prime numbers. All right. This word twin prime will be what? Very rarely used, but definitely it can be used. It can be present in the questions. Okay. Now we have learned all the types of number as what we wanted to learn today. Now we'll be practicing question based on this. Okay. Now how does this theory will comes under the question, right? Inside the question we'll understand that. Okay. So let's see a few questions based on that. Okay. So I'll write few questions. I hope it is clear to everyone right now. Or I'll do one thing first. I'll revise everything what we have done so far, right? It will be otherwise confusing if we directly jump onto the questions. Right. So the first in number system, right? First we understood about natural numbers, then whole numbers, then integers, and then positive integers, right? Natural number is represented by capital letter N, then whole number by W, Z, and then Z plus. Okay. Then next we understood that what is a negative integer, right? What is a non-negative integer? 0, 1, 2, 3 are known as what? Non-negative integers, which we also say it can be a whole number. Non-negative integers are not positive because there is an extra 0 in it, right? That's why it is, we cannot say just non-negative equal to positive. Same logic, non-positive integers. Non-positive integers cannot be said as negative because we have an extra 0 in this. Okay. Then next rational numbers, right? Any number of the type P by Q, where P and Q are integers and Q does not belong to 0 is what? Rational numbers, and they are represented by what? Capital letter Q. Okay. Then we have irrational numbers, which is denoted by Q dash, non-terminating and non-recurring. Any number in the root of prime number is there, then we say it's an irrational number. There are two special irrational numbers. One is E and second is pi. All right. Let's go to the next slide. Oops. Next slide, right? Even numbers. Numbers which are ending with 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 or are multiple of 2 is known as even numbers. Numbers which are ending with 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9 are known as what? Odd numbers, right? Then operation on even and odd, one even and one, if both the numbers are even or both the numbers are odd, then we add or subtract them, we're going to get an even number, right? We gave an example of this, okay? If one number is even, other is odd, then we will say we'll get an odd number, okay? We're going to get an odd number. Then what if we multiply? While multiplying, if we get just one even number, then irrespective of whether we are multiplying with an even number or an odd number, I am going to get a what? Even number, right? So to get an even number, I should have at least one even number in the product. Then product of two odd numbers is going to be an odd number, okay? If we don't have any even number, then the ultimate product will be what? Odd number. Then prime numbers, right? Prime number is a very important kind of number. Any number which has only two factors, the number 1, and the number itself is known as a prime number. For example, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, and 19, so on. All right. Then 1 is neither prime nor composite, okay? Second, 2 is the only even prime number, and 3 is the smallest odd prime number, okay? Then next point is what? That all the prime numbers more than 5 will be of the type 6n plus minus 1, right? Will be of the type 6n plus minus 1, where n belongs to natural number. But not all the numbers which are of type 6n plus minus 1 will be a prime number. We saw an example of 25, right? One more example is what? 35, right? So 35 is what? 6 into 6 minus 1, but this is not a prime number, okay? So we can't say just all the numbers of the type 6n plus minus 1 will be a prime number. We can't say that. Again, I am repeating it, okay? Because many students get confused of this fact. Next thing, right? Next thing what we have learned is composite number. Any number having more than two factors, right, is known as what? Composite number. Like 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and we forgot about 9, so we can say 9 also, right? We saw that 4 has a factor 1, 2, and 4, 6 has a factor 1, 2, 3, 6, and 10 has a factor 1, 2, 5, and 10, okay? Now, one more important note is that 4 is the smallest composite number, right? 4 is the smallest composite number. All right, then the next point. Next point is what? Co-prime or relatively prime, right? What are co-prime or relatively prime numbers? Two numbers are said to be co-prime if their HCF is 1. It means they have no common factor other than 1, okay? For example, 2, 3, 4, 3, right? 4, 9. 4, 3 and 4, 9 are an example of co-prime number, but they are not, they don't have any common factor, okay? But they themselves are what? Composite number. Okay, so don't be confused with this word prime. All right, and the last kind of number is the twin prime number, right? Twin prime numbers, right? Twin prime numbers. What are twin prime numbers? If the difference between two prime numbers is 2, then we can say that they are what? Twin prime numbers. Okay, like 3, 5, 5, 7, 11, 13. Right? One more example is 17 and 19. All these numbers are what? Twin prime numbers. Okay. Now let's go to the next part. Okay, which is of questions. Okay. Now we'll be doing some example based on the theory what we have learned so far. All right. Let's come to the examples. I hope everyone understood the theory of the questions, like whatever theory we have done so far. Now I'll be applying those theory to solve the questions. Okay. And then we'll solve some questions from your exercise also, right? Worksheet. Okay. So the first question is, if 2009 is equal to P to the power A, Q to the power B, where P and Q are prime numbers, then P plus Q is equal to what? Then P plus Q is equal to what? So see, they have given 2009 as a product of two numbers, right? Product of two prime numbers. All right, it means that this P and Q are what? Prime numbers. Now 2009, right? 2009 is actually an odd number, so definitely P and Q can't be none of them will be 2. Okay, so it will be either 3, 5, 7, what we'll see. Okay, so if I want to factorize 2009, right, so if I see it is going with 3, right, if I check if it is going with 3, it is not going with 3, right, then with 5 also not possible. If I try with 7, right, if I try with 7, let's see whether we get something or not. Right, 3 and 5 are not possible, so 7 if I do, I'll get 2, then 60 will be getting 8, and then I'll be getting 4, 49, 287, right, 287. Am I clear? For 7, okay, and then again if I divide with 7, I'll be getting 7 here, and then it will be 4 and 1. Now 41 is a prime number, right? 41 is what? A prime number, so we can't further factorize 41. Okay, that's why we can say that 2009, right, 2009 is actually 7 into 7 into 41. All right, 7 into 7 into 41. So we can say it is equal to 7 square and 41 to the power 1. Right, 7 square and 41 to the power 1. So if I compare now, right, so we can say P will be equal to 7 and Q will be equal to 41. Right, P will be equal to 7 and Q will be equal to 41. Someone can say, sir, why are you writing P to be 7? You can also write P to be 41 and Q to be 7, right? But what are they asking? They are not asking about anything about P and Q. They are asking their sum. They are asking their sum. So the sum of both P and Q in either of the case, right, will be how much? 48. Right? It will be how much? 448. I hope this question is clear to everyone, that we have understood about prime numbers. Now it is clear to how to solve this kind of question. Let's see one more example of this. Okay, next example. The number of prime numbers, less than 10 is what? P. And the number of composite number less than 15 is Q, right? Then P plus Q equal to what, right? Please, all of you, I'll just give you 2 minutes to solve this question. Okay, this is an example question. So please, whatever we have learned so far, try to apply it. The number of prime number less than 10 is how much? P they have given. And the number of composite number less than 15 is how much? Q. Then they are asking P plus Q equal to what? Please try to solve it. Okay, right, list down all the numbers, all the prime number less than 10 and all the composite number less than 15, right? Please solve it, everyone. Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes and just write your answers in the notebook. Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes. Okay, please solve it. Okay, I hope all of you have solved this question now so far, right? So let's see, what are the prime numbers, right? Prime numbers, I'll take a different color. So prime number less than 10. What will be coming? 2, right? 3, 5, 7. Okay. Someone will be thinking 9. 9 will not be coming, right? Only 2, 3, 5, 7. These are the only numbers, prime number less than 10. So we'll say P will be equal to 4, right? P is how much? It is equal to 4. Then next, prime number is done. Then next comes composite number. Composite number less than 15, right? Then first number will be what? 4. Then will be what? 6. Then 8. Then 9. Then 10. Then 12. And then last, till 12 only it will be coming, right? 4, 6, something we missed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? Correct. Okay. Anything we are missing here? 9, 10. Okay. One more number we are missing here is 14, right? 12 and then 14. So Q will be equal to what? 7. Right? Q will be equal to what? 7. Less than 15 they are saying. So we were missing 14. Now P plus Q will be equal to what? P plus Q will be equal to 4 plus 7, which is means 11. Right? 4 plus 7, which means what? 11. So I hope this question is also clear based on prime numbers and composite number. Okay. Next question. One more question we'll do of this. Let P and Q be the number of natural numbers less than 20, right? Natural numbers less than 20, and this is and are prime and composite, respectively, right? Prime and composite respectively, then find the value of 20 minus P minus Q, right? 20 minus P minus Q, right? This is a very interesting question. Let's see. In this question, the answer is very simple, but I want to see the approach, how you guys are doing. Okay? So please try this question. Let P and Q be the number of natural numbers less than 20 and are prime and are composite respectively. Then find the value of 20 minus P minus Q. Okay? So they are saying that P is a prime number and Q is a composite number. Okay, so what will be the value of 20 minus P minus Q? All right. So one way of doing this question is that you write all the numbers less than 20 which are prime and then composite and then subtract it from what? 20, right? This is one way of doing the question, but I don't think that is a smart way of doing it. Why? Because we know that any natural number will be definitely of the type prime or composite, right? It will be definitely of the type prime or composite. So if I subtract all the numbers, right, from 20, okay, so the only number left which is not a prime nor a composite number less than 20 will be just 1, right? Because I told you in the start only that 1 is the only even, 1 is not the prime nor the composite number, right? So only number which is not prime nor composite, right, is for 1, right? So the answer will be how much? 1. Understood? This is a very interesting question. Some people will do like this, that they will list all the prime numbers, right? So all the prime numbers in the list 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17 and 19, right? And then if the list composite number, so it will be how much? 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16 and 18, right? So total this is how much? P is how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? 8 prime numbers are there. Okay. And how many composite numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Q is how much? 9. I think we missed few numbers here. 2, 3, 5, 7, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we will get 9 and we'll get the answer has to be at 1. Understood? All of it is clear? Okay, next question. Now this question is very, very interesting. Okay, let's do this question. What is this question? Difference of squares of two odd integers, okay, is always divisible by, okay. There are 4 options given there. First is 3, B 4, C is 16 and D is 8. Okay, please try to solve it. I'll give you again 2 minutes. Difference of squares of two odd integers is always divisible by either 3, 4, 16 and 8. Okay, please try to solve the questions and get your answers. See, odd number will be always classified as 2k plus 1 or 2k minus 1. This is the only hint I am going to give it to you, right? It will be classified as 2k plus 1 or 2k minus 1. Or you can say why k we have taken. So you can say any number will be of the type 2m plus 1 and 2n plus 1, right? Where m and n both are what? Integers. So just try to do these questions based on this hint. Odd number is what? 2m plus 1 and 2n plus 1. Okay, so how we will do this? Difference of squares of two odd. Try to do the square of these two numbers and try to do the difference. Okay, try to do the difference. Let's see what answers do you guys get. Please try it, all of you. Right, I'll give you 2 minutes to solve it. So 2m plus 1 whole square, right, difference will be 2m plus 1 whole square and 2n plus 1 whole square, right? 2m plus 1 whole square and 2n plus 1 whole square. Okay, so what will be the answer? 3, 4, 16 or 8. Okay, you can do this question in one more way. The objective way is to do that is what? Just take any two odd integers, subtract them and get the answer, right? But that is not always going to be give you the correct answer, right? Sometimes it can vary. So, okay, I think enough time given. Now I'll solve this question. 2m plus 1 square minus 2n plus 1 square. If I open this, I'll get 4m square, 4m square plus 4m plus 1 minus 4n square minus 4n minus 1, right? Now 1 and 1 cancel, right? I can combine this two and I can combine this two, right? I can combine this two and then combine this two. So what will I get? 4 into m square 4 into m square minus n square plus 4 into m minus n, right? Now in both of this I can write 4 into m minus n into m plus n plus 4 into m minus n. Again I think you can see something common, right? Some factor common. This 4m minus n is common in both of them. So if I take it common, right, what will I get? I'll get it to be equal to what? 4m minus n. From this side of this, I'll be left with this one. So it will be m plus n. And from here, nothing will be left. So it will be m plus n plus 1, right? 4 into m minus n into m plus n plus 1. Okay. Now please try to understand. Okay. Now from here, we can see that there will be one factor at least, which is what? 4. Okay. So there will be one factor at least 4. So 3 is out of the question only, right? Because any number which is a multiple of 4 will, how it will be only 3. Okay. So now see whether m minus n or m plus n plus 1, right? Now see what are the possibilities. We know that, see, we can say that m comma n can be both odd or odd, can be both even, right? Or can be one odd and other is even. Okay? Please try to understand this. If both are odd, then I can say that this will be an even number, right? If this is an even number, if in these two cases, both are odd and both are even. In either of this case, their subtraction is an even number, right? And any even number means it will have at least a factor of 2. So that 2, right, that 2 into this 4 will give me what? 8 into something, right? Will be giving me what? 8 into something. All right. Now, if one is an odd number and other is an even number, right? One is an odd number and other is an even number. In this case, right, odd plus even, this thing will be an odd number, and odd plus 1 again will give me an even number, right? Odd plus 1 will give me an even number. So if it is an even number, it means this will also have a factor of 2 in it. So this 2 into this 4 will give me what? 8 into something, right? This will also give me what? 8 into something, right? So it means that difference of squares of two odd integers will always be having a factor of what? 8, right? That is why the answer is what? D. That is why the answer is what? D. I hope it is clear to everyone, right? This question. It's a very interesting question. Okay. I'll again explain what I have done here. So I gave you a hint that for considering any two odd integers, I have taken two example 2m plus 1 and 2n plus 1, right? As given, I have squared them and made a difference. So I have got 4m square plus 4m plus 1 minus 4n square minus 4n minus 1, 1 and 1 subtracted. Then again, I have combined 4m square and 4n square. I got 4m square minus n square. From here 4m and 4n. So I got 4m minus n. Then again I took something common. So I will get 4m minus n into m plus n plus 1. Right? Now this number m and n will be both odd. These numbers will be either odd or this number will be even or this, oops, sorry. This number will be both odd, both even, or one odd, one and even. So we saw that if in these two cases, right, this number will be an even number will have a factor of 2. So 2 into 4 will give me what? 8. Okay. And if one is odd and other is even, then at least this one will be even number. So it will be having a factor of 2. So again, this will give me what? 8. All right. So I hope this is clear to everyone. Now let's solve one more example and then we'll practice question from your worksheet. Then I'll give you a few homework for tomorrow. Okay. Let's do one more question. Next question, if m square minus n square equal to 7, right? M square minus n square equal to 7, where m comma n belongs to z, right, integers, then the number of ordered pair m comma n is, number of ordered pair m comma n is, right? Option A is even number, right? Option B odd, option C prime, it is a prime number, and option D, it's a composite number. Okay, so please try to solve this question. If m square minus n square is equal to 7, right, where both m and n are integers, then the number of ordered pair m comma n, how many such ordered pair will be possible, right? It is a even number, odd number, prime number, or composite number. Please try to solve it. Please try to solve it. Again, do in the same way, right? M square plus m minus n square is given. So what I can do, I can write it to be equal to m plus n into m minus n equal to 7, right? M plus n equal to m minus n into m minus n equal to 7. So please try to solve this. How can I get 7 as a product of two numbers? 7 is a prime number, right? So what I can do, I can make a cases. Case 1, m plus n into m minus n will be equal to 1 into 7, right? This is first case, right? Second case, I can write m plus n into m minus n is equal to 7 into 1, right? Third case, I'll write it here. Third case, m plus n into m minus n is equal to minus 1 into minus 7, right? And fourth case, m plus n into m minus n is equal to minus 7 into minus 1, right? There are 4 cases. So let's, in these 4 cases, how many different values of m and n are coming? Let's understand, okay? So see, if I solve this, I'll have m plus n equal to 1 and m minus n equal to 7, right? So if I add them, I am getting 2m equal to 8. So it means m will be equal to 4. If m is 4, I can say n will be equal to minus 3, right? So one ordered pair is how much? 4 comma minus 3, correct? One ordered pair is how much? 4 comma minus 3. If in this case, if I see, it is m plus n equal to 7, m minus n equal to 1, okay? M plus n equal to 7 and m minus n equal to 1. Again, if I add them, right, I am going to get m will be equal to 4, right? But here in this case, n will be equal to 3, right? So one more ordered pair, different ordered pair will be how much? 4 comma 3, right? 4 comma 3. Next, m plus n equal to minus 1 and m minus n is equal to minus 7, right? If I solve this, I'll get m is equal to minus 4, okay, minus 4, and here I'll get n is equal to minus 3, okay? Yes. So one more order pair will be minus 4 minus 3, right? Minus 4 and minus 3. Then the last one, if I solve, which will be m plus n equal to minus 7 and m minus n equal to minus 1, right? If I add them, again I am going to get m to be minus 4, but n, this time I'll get it to be 3, okay? So one more ordered pair will be how much? Minus 4 comma 3. Minus 4 comma 3. So how many ordered pair, number of ordered pair is how many here? 4, right? 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the number of ordered pair is how many? 4. Now 4 is what kind of number? One, it is an even number, and second, it is a composite number. Right? It's an even number, and second, it's a composite number. So the answer is what? A and D. Right? You must be thinking, right? You must be thinking that how can one question have two option correct, right? This is one pattern of IIT JEE Advanced, right? In which more than one options can be correct, all right? So it's not always necessary that only one option out of the given 4 option, only one option will be correct. There is a possibility that more than one. So any 2 of them can be right, any 3 of them can be right, or all of them can be right, right? So all these possibilities are there. So it is not likely that only one option is correct. There can be more than one option also. So A and D, all right? So we have almost come to the end of the lecture, and we have completed the theory and the questions. Now I'll be doing some questions from your worksheet, okay, which is your CBC booklet. I hope all of you have received the book. If it is not, then you will get it, right, soon. So I'll be giving you some homework from it. So come to page number. Those who have the book, please come to page number, in the CBC book, please come to page number 55. Right? In 55, day 1 worksheet, right? In 55, day 1 worksheet is homework, okay? Day 1. So we can, as we have some time left, we can do few questions from this, starting from now, right? So these questions are all the 50, I think how many questions are there? Yeah, page number, I'll add it here. Page number 55 and 56. Question 1 to 15, homework, right? So we'll discuss this tomorrow in the class, right? Before going to the next theory, we'll be doing those questions. We'll be discussing all the questions tomorrow, right? And let's start doing the questions, okay, from here. 1 or 2 questions we'll be doing it together as we have some time left, okay? So we'll be doing this question together. Let's do one more question. So question number is 1, right? Question number 1 from your CBC book, day 1, right? Worksheet day 1, okay? Number of, I'll write the question if some of you don't have the book. So number of prime numbers less than 10 is P. Is how much? P, okay? And I think this question we have already done. And number of composite number less than 15 is Q, then P plus Q is equal to what, right? This question we have done already. I'll show you here. Yes, this question, right? It is the same question. The number of number less than 10 is P, and the number of composite number less than 15 is Q. The first question answer we already know. It is how much? 11, right? So the answer, I'll actually write the answer. What is the answer for this? It is 11. Right? We have done this question already, so that is why I directly wrote the answer. Number of numbers will be how much? 11. Acha, one more thing, that if you guys are doing the question or you have missed any particular class, then what you can do? You can go to the nearby center. There will be a set of faculties available in the centers from 2 to 5 o'clock, okay, to clear your doubts or to explain you one-on-one, okay. So you don't need to call or take any appointment. You can directly go to the center, and there will be a set of faculties in the nearest center who will explain you any doubt regarding to the theory, okay. If you are not able to understand in the class something, Or if you have any questions which you are having a doubt, then you can discuss that also with the respective teacher available at your nearest center. Okay. Again, I am saying the timing is from 2 to 5. As from 9 to 1 o'clock, we are having this online classes. From 9 to okay. So, as I was saying, you can go to a nearby center from 2 to 5 because the classes are from 9 to 2 for biology students. For mathematics, it is for 9 to 1, but biology class is till 2 o'clock, right? So I think 1 to 2 also there is one more class for zoology, right? I think after 1 o'clock there will be a 10 minutes gap. So from after that they will be having a zoology class. All right, so you can always go to the centers and can discuss the doubt with the faculty. Okay, and anyway, I'm going to discuss all the questions again tomorrow in the class. Okay, so whatever homework I have given, this 1 to 15, I'll be discussing all these questions tomorrow. Okay, so the first question though is already same as what we have done in the class, so there is no need to do the first one. We have already done the first one. I think you can do the rest 14 questions and we'll discuss it, we'll solve it tomorrow. All right, okay, bye bye, thank you everyone.
Good afternoon, students. So, welcome to the 2-year academic journey with Resonance, and I'll be dealing with the biology in your online session, botany. Okay. So, let us start with the very first chapter, and that is cell, the unit of life. So, we are already familiar with this chapter in our previous classes also. In our lower classes, we have talked about the cell, unit of life. So, here we are going to talk in bit detail, same concepts, same sections, but more in detail, right? So, let us start with cell, the unit of life, right? So, the study of living organisms, their cell, structure, function, physiology, evolution, and everything about cell will be discussed in this chapter, right? In biology, we will be talking about the living organisms, right? How do we define biology? Study of living organisms. So, as in the 11th class, you will be talking more detail in biology. So, biology is what? Study of living organisms. So, we can mention it here before diving into the chapter. Study of living organisms. Okay? And what are the living organisms made up of? They are comprised of cells, right? So, study of the cells and its structure is called as what? Cytology. So, let us define one more term. What is that? Cytology, that is study of cell and its structure, right? That we will be doing in this chapter. Now, before going into the chapter and its topics, I would like to introduce you about the cell history and its background, like who has given the term cell, who has discovered the cell first time, who has discovered the first living cell and all that, okay? So, the first person who has observed the cell for the first time and coined the term cell was Robert Brown. Who was that? Robert Brown has discovered the nucleus. We guys are already familiar. Robert Brown has discovered the nucleus, and Robert Hooke is the person who is known to discover cell for the first time in cork cell, which is a dead cell. He has observed a thin slice under microscope. Okay, so Robert Hooke in 1665 observed the first cell and also coined the term cell in his book. Although the book is not mentioned in your NCERT, but I would like to tell you for information, the name of the book is Micrographia, right? What is the name of the cell of Robert Hooke? That is Micrographia. There he mentioned about the cell, right? But it was a dead cell because it was a part of bark of tree, which is a dead part of the tree. So, who has discovered the first living cell? The first living cell was observed by a person who was a lens maker by profession. And what was the name? You guys have already studied in 9th standard. That is Anton von Leeuwenhoek. So, Anton von Leeuwenhoek was the first who observed the first living cell, right? He was the first to observe living cell. He studied several bacterial cell, algae, and etc. Right? Now, At present day, we can say that all the living beings, be it plants, animals, microscopic forms, every living organism is made up of cells, right? But imagine at that time when microscope was the recent discovery. None of the advancement of science has been discovered at that time. So how was the situation at that time? How can we say at that time that all living organisms are made up of cells? So my dear students, the first person or the people who proposed the cell theory and stated all living organisms are made up of cell and its product was given by two scientists. What was that? Who were they? So we call the theory as cell theory given by the German botanist. What was the name? German botanist, the name was Schleiden, and British zoologist. What was the name of the British zoologist? Schwann. British zoologist, and the name of the zoologist is Schwann, right? They have together formulated the cell theory, right? I'll write it again. Zoologist Schwann, right? They have together formulated the cell theory. German botanist Schleiden and British zoologist, that is Schwann. Now this British term is replaced by German for zoologist also, and it is a latest update. It will not be mentioned in your NCERT. In NCERT they would have given the German botanist Schleiden, the British zoologist Schwann, but note it here, now it is German zoologist also. Is that clear? Yes. What they have given the statement? They have given the statement that all living beings, be it plant or animal, are made up of cells and its product only, right? So what was the statement given during cell theory? All the living beings, be it plants and animals, they are made up of cells and their product. I hope you all are writing this in your notes as well. Okay? Yes. Now, there is a certain limitation of this cell theory. And what is that? Yes, I'll tell you the limitation. The limitation is that they are not able to tell from where the new cells are arising. That is fine that they predicted that cell theory states that all living beings are made up of plants and animals and its product, but they were not able to tell from where the new cells are arising. So the cell theory was reformulated in 1855 by another scientist, and the name of the scientist is Rudolf Virchow. Rudolf Virchow, who has reformulated the cell theory. Reformulated the cell theory. In the Latin language, he has given a statement which is also mentioned in your NCERT, and that is omnis cellulae e cellula. What is the statement? Omnis cellulae e cellula, which is a Latin language, which means cells arise from the pre-existing cells only. What does it mean? They stated, this statement means that cells arise from pre-existing cells by division. This was the meaning. We added by division process, the new cells are formed. And what was the time of discovery? It was reformulated in 1855. Is that clear? So you can go through it once again. So what was the year of the cell theory? It was 1839 and 38 together by German botanist and zoologist, whereas it was reformulated in 1855, right? Yes. All right. Now let us proceed further. Rudolf Virchow has reformulated the cell theory as omnicellulae e cellulae, which is a Latin language, which means cells arise from pre-existing cells by division. Now let us give the conclusion for the cell theory in two final statements. Number one, all living beings are made up of cells and its product, be it plant and animals. Whereas the final second statement is that cells arise from pre-existing cells and they are formed by the process of division. We can see here, if this is a parent cell, then it divides to form two daughter cells. Then further it divides to form more daughter cells, and the process continues like that in order to form new cells. Did you got my point? So this is all which was given by German botanist, British zoologist, and it was reformulated by Rudolf Virchow as the cells arise from the pre-existing cells only. Is that clear? All right. So now let us move into the types and variety of cells that is found in the nature in all the living organisms. So my dear students, we know that cells vary in its structure, in its size and structure depending on their function. Depending on its function. It is very obvious, my dear student, that the profession, the work or the job that we do, we get dressed up accordingly, right? If a doctor is there, then he will wear a doctor dress, like the dress according to his profession. If a teacher is there, he will dress like this as my profession. If a chef is there, he or she will get dressed according to his profession, right? Likewise, the cells also vary in their appearance depending on the function they perform, right? So there are certain diagrams, there are several diagrams shown in your NCERT showing their structure as per their function. So I'll also be drawing those diagrams over here. You can see we have a nerve cell, we have a nerve cell with its branched network, because it has to carry message from one part of the body to another part of body with its interconnected ends, right? So it has branched network. Are you getting my point? So this is the nerve cell, or simply neuron, which is the longest cell known, right? Yes. Another is, you can say, some secretory cells found in our body meant for secretion, called as columnar cells, right? So columnar cells are meant for secreting some fluids and mucus in the digestive tract. We will be discussing more about it in our upcoming lectures, but here we are talking about its appearance. Next, we can take an example of RBCs. Like RBCs are amoeboid in shape. Why so? Because they have to pass through the blood vessels. So they should be flexible in terms of their shape. If they won't be flexible, they won't be easily able to pass through the blood vessels. Are you getting my point? So as function, likewise their structure. Is that clear? Yeah. So the amoeboid structure of the RBCs. Is that clear? Yeah. Okay. One more example we can take over here, that is the structure of trachea, or the sieve tubes or the vessels present in the plant body where they are meant for conduction. So how do they look like? They look like this. I can draw it over here. Depending on their function, they also have a tubular structure or pipeline like structure, so that they can transport water along with it, right? So that is why I have written cells vary in its size, structure, depending on its function. Is that clear? Now I would like to tell you about the smallest cell known on this living system. And what is that? Should I move on the next page? Yes. You can note it down. This is your trachea. This is your trachea. Now moving ahead, as I told you, the smallest cell known is of mycoplasma. What is that? Mycoplasma. The smallest known cell of 0.3 micrometer in size. What is micrometer? 10 raised to power minus 6. So mycoplasma are of 0.3 micrometers. Then your RBCs are of 7.0 micrometers in diameter, right? These are the two sizes that you need to recall, because these are mentioned in your NCERT. While rest of the cells, even you are not aware of the size, that is also fine. So I would like to give some examples of their sizes, such as the largest cell is egg of an ostrich, right? The longest cell we already discussed, that is the nerve cell. Okay. And the smallest cell we are already told it is around 0.3 micrometers, whereas what is the size of bacteria? They ranges from 3 micrometers to 5 micrometers in size. So that's all about the range. You can see how greatly they vary in terms of their size and the structure depending on their function. Is that clear? Yeah. Okay. Now we will see the basic structure of a cell depending on what function, what activities they are doing. We will see what are the constituents or the composition of a cell. See, broadly, a cell consists of a liquid arena surrounded by a membrane called as cell membrane. And the liquid arena where all the activities are performed. The liquid arena where all the metabolic activities are performed inside the cell is called as cytoplasm, whereas the surrounding membrane is called as cell membrane. Right? This is the arena of the cell, which is the site to perform all the metabolic activities, right? And what do we call that? We call them as cytoplasm. That is found in all the cell irrespective of its type. And what is the second structure? The second structure is cell membrane, that is the boundary of the cell. Now, we will see some of the cell have certain membrane bound structure. We will see some of the cell have certain membrane bound structure such as ER, Golgi bodies. We will see sometimes nucleus, some other structures that we will be drawing in detail, right? So sometimes some membrane bound structure are also present called as organelle. What are cell organelle? Membrane bound structure found inside the cell. For example, mitochondria, right? For example, ER, for example, Golgi bodies, etc., that we will be discussing one by one in detail. These are not the only organelle, there are many more, but the next topic is we are going to talk about the two types of cells, that is prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Then in eukaryotic sections, we will be talking about this organelle in detail. So I hope I'm clear with the concept about the basic structure, the cytoplasm, that is the liquid part, main arena of the cell, which is site to perform all the metabolic activities. Second is the boundary, cell membrane. Third is the cell organelle, which are the membrane bound structure found inside the cell, such as mitochondria, ER, Golgi bodies, and etc. Is that clear? Now I'll be moving towards the two basic type of cell. One is the prokaryotic, another is eukaryotic. So let us put the new heading for that. Right? Okay. So let us start with the prokaryotic type of cell. Broadly, dear students, we have two types of cell. One is the prokaryotic, another is the eukaryotic. So before talking about a particular type of cell, let us understand the difference between a prokaryotic and a eukaryotic cell. Right? So we have two types of cells. Number one is your prokaryotes, and another is the eukaryotes. Now, we have already discussed about these two terms in our previous classes, not exactly by me, but there would be definitely some other science teacher or biology teacher who would have told you about these two terms, the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes, right? So here, karyo term is common in both the type of cells. So what do we understand by karyo? Karyo means nucleus, right? What does this karyo means? Nucleus, right? U means true. So the cell with the true nucleus, or the cell with the true type of nucleus, is called as eukaryotes, and the cell which have a primitive nucleus. Now what is that primitive nucleus? How it look like? That all we are going to discuss right now only. Pro means primitive here and karyo means nucleus. So one with primitive nucleus is called as prokaryotes, right? And the one with the true nucleus will be called as eukaryotes. Okay. Now let us see how the nucleus look like. See, if this is a cell, and the genetic material of the cell, such as the DNA, RNA or RNA is the blue chip, or the chip of the cell, which is carrying all the information about the cell, its division, time of division, how many division, how much growth, what metabolic activities, every information is stored in the form of its genetic material. So that genetic material is very much crucial and the celebrity molecule for the cell. So cell will provide multiple level security to the nucleus. The genetic material is the celebrity of the cell, so it will provide multiple level security around the genetic material. So that type of nucleus where a multiple level security means multiple layered surrounding covering is there, that type of nucleus is said to be as the true nucleus, which is found in case of your eukaryotes. So let us first see the nucleus of the eukaryotes. If this is the genetic material of the eukaryotes, then this is the covering around the true nucleus found in case of eukaryotes. Whereas if you see the nucleus of the prokaryotes, it is just scattered in the cytoplasm like this. Is that clear? So the prokaryotic genetic material is scattered in the nucleus like this, whereas the eukaryotic genetic material is present in the well-surrounded, multi-layered security. And when the nucleus is surrounded by a membrane, then such nucleus is called as true nucleus, that is eukaryotic cell, and the one which is having no membrane around its genetic material, then such cells are called as prokaryotes, which do not have a true nucleus. So please write down cells which lack true membrane around nucleus are called as prokaryotes, whereas the one which possess true membrane around nucleus is called as eukaryotes. That clear? Yeah. And in prokaryotes, where the nuclear membrane is not properly present, such nucleus are called as incipient nucleus. Very, very important. Very, very important, as it has been asked so many times in your NEET examination, incipient, not incipient. Yeah, incipient. Incipient nucleus. There is one more name, that is nucleoid. Right? Nucleoid, incipient nucleus, all are the terms for the nucleus of prokaryotes, where here we simply called it is true nucleus because it is membrane bound nucleus. Is that clear? So please mark it as very, very important. Nucleoid and incipient nucleus. Is that clear? Yeah. So moving ahead, please note it down carefully in your notes, because you are going to face such questions in your practice paper or in your examination. So be aware about all the points, whatever I'm writing from the board, each and every point is very, very important for your examination point of view. Right? Moving ahead. Although there are several other points also which is different in prokaryotes and eukaryotes, such as the size. Prokaryotes are basically smaller in size, eukaryotes are bigger in size. Prokaryotes will not have well membrane nucleus, whereas this will have well membrane bound nucleus. Then there is one more point that you can mention here, that is, please write down. In prokaryotes, they lack membrane bound organelle also. You know, it's not only about the nucleus, rather prokaryotes also lack the membrane bound organelles such as endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi bodies, the mitochondria, the lysosomes, etc. So it's not only about the well membrane bound nucleus, rather none of the membrane bound organelle is present in case of your prokaryotes. Okay? None of the. This I am writing about prokaryotes. Second point. And in eukaryotes, we will see that they have or they possess membrane bound organelle, such as all that we mention in this side, they are present over here, such as Golgi, mitochondria, lysosomes, etc. Is that clear? Yeah, that's all about. Now we will be talking more about the prokaryotic system, and secondly we will take the eukaryotes, right? So let us start with the prokaryotic system in detail here. I hope you all have noted this. Okay. So we are going to talk about prokaryotes in detail. So these are the star of today's lecture, prokaryotes. We are going to talk each and everything about the prokaryotes or prokaryotic system, or the organism which possess prokaryotic type of cells. So what are the organisms which do not have well membrane bound nucleus, and they are also simpler, more basic as compared to that of eukaryotes in every aspects, like in terms of size they are smaller, complexity they are small, they are less evolved, okay, their metabolic activities are very less evolved, everything they are, we cannot say inferior, but they are lower to that of eukaryotes. Okay, so what are the organisms which possess prokaryotic cells? So they are bacteria, then cyanobacteria, which are also called as blue-green algae. Then we just talked about the mycoplasma, the smallest organisms. So they are also prokaryotic. So let us write that also. Mycoplasma. What else? Bacteria, cyanobacteria, blue-green algae, mycoplasma. Yeah, that all are the organisms which possess prokaryotic type of cells, right? Then we will see this prokaryotic cells mainly consist of the organisms which belongs to which kingdom? Prokaryote accommodates the members of accommodates the member of kingdom. We will study in our upcoming lecture. There is a kingdom called as Monera. So it accommodates the members of kingdom Monera. Although those who are not aware of the kingdom Monera, we will be discussing later on, then you'll get to know. But as of now, you need to write they accommodates the kingdom Monera. Okay, so mainly prokaryotic cells are found in the bacteria, you can see. Okay, so what are the shapes, what are the types of bacteria that are found in the system? Let us discuss. The bacteria can be of different shape and size, different shapes basically, different shapes, and on the basis of shapes, they are named accordingly, such as number 1 is coccus. Coccus means spherical in shape like this. Are you getting my point? So they can be dispersed or they can form chain like this. If it forms chain, then we can call it as streptococcus, right? If they are found individually, we can call it as coccus, and the plural is cocci. So coccus, spherical. Number 2 is bacillus, that is rod shaped like this. Example is your lactobacillus. Okay. Then third is comma shaped, that is commonly called as vibrio, that look like this, comma shaped that look like this. Okay. And the third shape is the spiral. Spiral, we call it as spirulum, that is spiral in shape. How does it look like? That look like this. Okay. So these are the type of shapes that bacteria show, which are type of prokaryotic cells. Yeah, because we are talking mainly about the prokaryotic system. So these are the general points or the salient features regarding prokaryotes that you can note it in your notes. Yes, is that clear? Okay. Now, more points regarding your prokaryotic system. Moving ahead. Number two is the cell envelope in case of the prokaryotic cell. Okay. See, the cell envelope in a prokaryotic cell is a three-layered structure. It's not single-layered or double-layered structure. Rather, the cell envelope in case of prokaryotic system is made up of how many layers? 3 layers, and we will see what are they, what is their sequence. Cell envelope in case of bacteria is 3-layered structure, and what are they? Let us draw it one by one. The outermost is said to be as the glycocalyx layer, right? Followed by the second layer as the non-living rigid structure that is said to be as the cell wall. Outermost is what? Cell wall. And the innermost layer in case of the prokaryotic cell is the plasma membrane. The plasma membrane. Okay, one by one we will look into the structure of the cell envelope of the prokaryotic cell. The outermost layer is glycocalyx. Let us write it outermost, glycocalyx. Followed by the middle one, cell wall. And the innermost is the plasma membrane. Now one by one we will talk about its function. Number one is glycocalyx. Glycocalyx, which is further of two types depending on its nature. One is the slime layer type and another is the capsule type. See, if this outermost layer, glycocalyx, is slimy in nature, it is sticky in nature, it has adhesive roles, it helps the bacteria to attach with the host and derive nutrition from there, or simply it is slimy in nature, mucus secreting, adhesive in nature, as the name suggests, slime layer, then such type of glycocalyx which is slimy in nature, role in adhesion, is simply called as slime layer. So we can write down. Point wise is slimy in touch, adhesive in nature, and helps to attach with host. Whereas the capsule is hard or tough covering, and it has role in protection. Is that clear? As the name suggests, slime layer, capsule, it is tough, has role in protection. Or both are the type of outermost layer, that is glycocalyx. Please note it down. whereas this glycocalyx layer is made up of sugar and proteins, so it is called as glyco means sugar, whereas it is made up of proteins also, so we together call it as glycoproteins. Glycocalyx is made up of glycoproteins. So this was about the outermost layer. Moving towards the cell wall, that is the second layer. Shall I start with that? Yes? Okay. Cell wall. The second layer of bacterial structure envelope. Cell wall is the second layer of cell envelope, and it is made up of, if I write made up of like this, I hope you guys will understand, right? But currently I am writing it like this, made up of peptidoglycans and lipopolysaccharides, which are the type of sugars and proteins only found in the cell wall of bacteria that you need to recall for the composition of cell wall, because my dear students, cell wall is made up of cellulose and pectin in plants. It is made up of chitin in fungi. It is made up of galactase and mannans. It is made up of galactans and mannans in algae. Likewise, the composition is different in case of bacteria. It is made up of peptidoglycans and lipopolysaccharides. You need not to write this as of now. We will be discussing in upcoming lectures. So, because it has different composition in different organism, that is why I am writing the composition of cell wall in case of bacteria. It is made up of peptidoglycans and lipopolysaccharides. Is that clear? Yeah? All right. Okay, so cell wall provides, what is the function of cell wall? Cell wall provide a definite shape to the cell, provide protection from the external injury or any of the type of mechanical injury. So it has role in protection and also prevents the cell from bursting. Okay? Yeah. So please note down the function. It provides definite shape to the cell. Protection also prevents the cell from bursting if there is any kind of pressure to the cell. Is that clear? Yeah. In case of glycocalyx, there is one more function, and that is, you can add it here, apart from this, glycocalyx, it prevent the cell from desiccation. What is desiccation? See, The glycocalyx is slimy in nature, sticky in nature, okay, has moisture in it. So it do not allow the cell to get dry. So we call it as prevents the cell from desiccation, right? What else it performs? Phagocytosis. What is phagocytosis? To trap and kill the harmful agents coming in contact with the bacteria, right? So two more functions, phagocytosis and prevent the cell from desiccation. Is that clear? Also, it provides virulence to the cell. What does it mean? What is virulence? If some of the bacteria or if any bacteria is causing some disease or it has some toxicity, so that is also imparted by its glycocalyx only. So my dear students, you can be asked several questions regarding these points, that which of the following is not the function of glycocalyx. So one more function that I am adding over here, and that is what? It provides virulence. Virulence to the cell. Virulence to the cells means if any disease or some infection is caused by certain bacteria, so that is also possessed by glycocalyx. So number 1 function, prevents cell from desiccation. Number 2, phagocytosis. Number 3, virulence to cells. And separately, they have separate function. Slime layer is slimy in touch, adhesive nature, helps to attach with the host. Whereas if it is capsule, it is hard in touch, role in protection. Is that clear? Yeah. Then next was our cell wall, provides definite shape, protection, also prevents the cell from bursting. Is that clear? Now the third layer in the cell envelope is cell membrane. So I hope you guys are already aware with the function of cell membrane. And what is that? It allows the passage of molecules between the atmosphere or the environment and the bacteria, or if there is any cell there. Is that clear? So cell membrane is made up of lipids and proteins. And what does it do? Has role in passage of molecules entering and leaving the cell. Is that clear? So I hope you all are clear with the functions of all the 3 layers of the cell envelope in case of bacteria. Yeah. Okay, please note it down. Then we will proceed further with the extension of the cell membrane, and that is a very important part in the cell unit of life. Let us move towards that. Please note it down. All right. So next is the extension of cell membrane. Very, very important structure in case of prokaryotic cell. You can highlight it in your notes as well. Mesosomes, because you are already aware that bacteria or the prokaryotic cell do not have any membrane bound organelle. So this mesosome is the structure which is going to perform all the function related to the metabolic activities of the bacteria, be it excretion, cell division, replication, enzymatic activity. You name a single activity in bacteria, that will be definitely performed by the mesosome. So what is mesosome? Please write down. What is mesosome? It is the enfoldings of plasma membrane, in bacteria only we are talking about, in bacteria which play role in, what are the functions? Which has role in replication, has role in cell division, has role in enzymatic activity and increased surface area for enzymatic activity, increase surface area, right? Then respiration. Is that clear? So all the function for the bacteria is actually performed by the mesosomes only. Okay? So this was all about today's topic. Till mesosomes we have completed about its function as well. So revise it properly, twice, thrice, and then we'll meet tomorrow to continue the same topic with the prokaryotic cells. So that's all about today. Thank you. Have a good day.